You know, you can't give it. Opener in Brazil also snaps a streak of 17 consecutive wins in one-score games for Kansas City, who's about to do some soul searching on both sides of the ball. We begin our quest here with Emery Hunt and Ryan Wilson, set to break down some Friday Night Football in the NFL. Fellas, this was an exciting one, no doubt about it. It's hard to take your eyes off of what Justin Herbert personally accomplished in this game. 3 touchdowns, 318 passing yards, another 32 on the ground, and the one that salted it away. What did you make of his performance in this moment to start a season, coming off what was his worst performance in the NFL to end last season?
This was the best game I've seen Justin Herbert play as an NFL player because he was aggressive, he was confident, and he did it well on both ends of offense. We saw him do a fantastic job in being aggressive in the passing game, working intermediate to deeper down the field. It wasn't just checkdowns, he was working intermediate to deep, and then we saw him utilize his legs, not just of the garden variety of just scrambling and get yards, but we saw him lower his shoulder, we saw him keep his balance, we saw him go decisively when the game was on the line to get the first down to end the ball game. So this was the best game.
This ain't your granddad's Chargers. We like to talk a lot about the Chargers chargering, and I was making notes late in the second quarter, just before halftime, when Marion Hampton ran out of bounds. Why? We still don't know. That led to 3 points right before the half for the Chiefs. They come out, the Chargers do 3 and out. The next thing we see is Trier Tart slapping Travis Kelce in the face. The very next play after that, 6 points. But you know what? Jim Harbaugh doesn't know anything about charging. He does not care. We saw Harrison Butker miss an extra point, which he only did twice last year, and that seemed to turn the tide of momentum, and then Justin Herbert did the rest. The other thing is, I hope someone knows where Greg Roman is, because he got locked up, because all they did was throw the ball, and that is not Greg Roman's game plan as an offensive coordinator, and he put it in his franchise quarterback's hands, and we saw the results. This feels different. Do we like to overreact in week 1? Absolutely. Am I guilty of doing that right now? 100%. I'm happy to do it because Justin Herbert played the way that he did. And that team, for the first time in as long as I can remember, did not look scared in the face of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid down the stretch. They took some punches. They stayed, they kept their feet, and at the end of the day, we saw that play that Justin Herbert made to win it with his legs. It looked like Jalen Hurts out there, and that's a good thing when you're the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ryan's dead on, because the Chargers had an answer for every Chiefs surge. So anytime the Chiefs looked like they were coming back, the Chargers had an answer. And this was all on Herbert's arm, because the run game was just, it was marginal at best, and so they needed Herbert to win this ball game because it was a heavy pass script. To speak on what Ryan talked about, so Herbert really went out there and did the thing. So kudos to him, tip of my cap to him. And he really went out there on his own and with those receivers and beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the open.
We know statistically Justin Herbert continues to live in rarefied air in terms of how he started his career. I've got the Chargers down for 34 attempts off the hand of Herbert. I got them down for 25 rushes, 7 of those being Justin Herbert rushes, which the lion's share were likely designed pass. So to Ryan's point, pass-heavy script here to start, and maybe catching the Chiefs a little bit off guard in that regard. And I'm not here to say that 32 guys could do what Justin Herbert did tonight, but the Chiefs didn't make it too hard on him. There were gaping holes in those zone defenses, couldn't create pressure with the 4-man rush. What troubled you most about the defensive effort from the Chiefs?
Both of those things. Everything outside of Drew Tranquil, because he was playing outside of his mind right now. I love what he was doing out there. But when you think about them not being able to get pressure without blitzing, that showed up big because Herbert had all day back there to hit those intermediate and deep routes down the field. And then the secondary, just lack of communication and lack of coverage. Just unaware of where you are on the field, unaware of the situation. We saw the touchdown pass where Quentin Johnson was open in the back of the end zone, where he just ran past the defensive backs that was so focused on a short route by McConkey, forgetting where they were on the field. You have to communicate that, pass that off, realize where you are, and that's where Herbert really took advantage. So they couldn't give pressure, especially on the edge, And when they blitzed, they got home, but you can't always rely on the blitz. And to be completely honest, they had more penalties than the Chargers did. So that in and of itself is going to beat you. In the pregame, Joe, I spoke about, the Chiefs don't beat themselves. That's the one thing they don't do. Today, they beat themselves in that regard with the penalties.
Yeah, and the thing we'll learn is that Steve Spagnuolo will make the necessary adjustments. This obviously isn't the end of the world for the Chiefs, but it was glaring and telling to see it unfold in real time. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, your guy Keenan Allen, Musso, all they did was run over routes, and they would clear out the zone of the cornerback on the far side, and there was miles of space, and all Justin Herbert had to do was wait for one of those three guys to run open, throw a ball out there to the intermediate level, and they would run under it and do the rest. And I think we know who Ladd McConkey is. We know who Keenan Allen is historically. This was a coming out party of sorts for Quentin Johnston as well, because he has not yet quite lived up to the first round hype. This was the first time it felt like he looked like TCU Quentin Johnston. He even dropped that ball in the end zone, came back, had another touchdown. So that's a positive development. The running game will get going. We know Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh will make sure that's the case. Najee Harris looked fine in a couple of carries. Amari Hampton will learn from this mistake at the end of the first half there. Look, I don't want to overreact, but this is pretty exciting. And this feels like a team that you have to take seriously. Not only because you're playing in the same division as the Chiefs, but we know the Broncos are going to be bringing it as well.
I'm not going to call you off of any overreactions, but you went to Quentin Johnston there, so you're towing the line, Ryan Wilson. That was a fantastic performance. I want to see it a couple more times, but Justin Herbert maximizing what he has in that pass game. Ryan, I'm coming back to you here. Let's go on the Chiefs here for a moment offensively, because we saw all sorts of Mahomes magic once again, did everything he could to keep his team in this chase, but it wasn't enough. So I go back to how this game started. How did the omission of Xavier Worthy affect the play calling throughout this game in your eyes for Andy Reid?
Yeah, and I'm shaking my head because they were already down some guys at the skill position, and you just hate to see in the third offensive play you run a simple mesh route and Travis Kelce takes out your best, most explosive downfield threat. There's the play here. I mean, they've run this play probably a million times. It has never ended like this, and it can't end like this. So whoever the blame is to be on, you got to fix it. So he leaves after the third play. We see Hollywood Brown struggle with some drops early on. And then Patrick Mahomes was like, you know what? I'll do what I always do. And Emery touched on this earlier. We saw some of the penalties. Justin Simmons, the left tackle, who's going to be special, had a couple of penalties. We saw right tackle Juwan Taylor have enough penalties where Travis Kelce had to headbutt him and say, hey, man, you're in Brazil. We're playing a football game right now. How about you wake up? That said, we saw the fourth down play where Khalil Mack shoved Patrick Mahomes into the stands, and he throws a bomb to Hollywood Brown to make things interesting late in the fourth. Before that, though, we've already forgotten about the parallel to the ground throw that Patrick Mahomes made to get the first down to Juju Smith-Schuster through three Chargers defenders. So he's in peak performance, midseason form, Patrick Mahomes is. Everybody else on both sides of the ball just needs to catch up.
What worries me the most, based off this one game, I know it's only one game, but it could be a potential problem, and you got to nip it in the bud right away. The run game for Kansas City has to show up. They really cannot run the football, and I think that's going to be an issue for them moving forward.